Well, hello to everyone out there in internet land. Hi, and how you doing? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to Chattin on the Porch. Our little get-together Monday through Thursday evenings where we get together and we talk about the news, we give our views, we try to laugh through it all, we try to make sense of it all, we try to laugh as we're making sense of it all, and otherwise we try and get through this crazy thing we call life together. Glad to have you guys here tonight at the start of a new week. I am excited. I am pumped. We got a really good shoe for you all out there. And if you all know that reference, you're cool enough to be my friend. And even if you don't know the reference, you're still cool enough to be my friend because why? All are welcome on the electronic front porch. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So please, if you would not mind, I would greatly appreciate it. It would be a big help to me. Please share the link around, tell your friends, and say, hey, this guy's got a pretty good channel. He talks about stuff. He talks. He doesn't sit there looking very silent. Otherwise, he tries to make this thing fun and enjoyable. Why don't you give him a sub? Why don't you give me a sub? Why doesn't everybody give me a sub? Sub to my channel on YouTube and Rumble. It would be greatly appreciated. Also, yes, as Chris from the Morning Mayhem says, hit that like button, daggone it. Very helpful. Leave a comment in chat. Do all those things you do. As Jack Buck once said, go crazy, St. Louis, and everywhere in between. Again, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. I am known to some as the fine fella in the fedora. I am known to some as the common man with common sense, but I am, above all else, at this moment in time, your host. Again, we are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on YouTube. So please, hit that like button, leave a comment, share the link around, subscribe to the channel, do all those things that y'all do to make this thing a going little concern. It is greatly appreciated from the proprietor of this channel. Oh, I love you guys so much. Good Monday evening to everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend out there. Oh, goodness me, goodness me, goodness me. Let us see who is in the house so far. Tell you what, we'll start on the Rumble side, since I'm looking to my left. WWG1 has been busy as always, finding memes of varying kinds to share with the group. So good evening to you, WWG1. Chris from My Morning Mayhem is here. Glad to have you in the house, sir. Let's see. Where is TBA? Ah, there he is. There he is. Okay. See, you're late this time. Ha 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 ha. Gotcha. I knew it was going to happen one of these days, y'all. I knew I'd get that son of a gun. Well, hello, West Virginia Patriot USA. I know exactly who you are. I'm glad to have you in the house. Indeed. Indeed, indeed, indeed. All right, let's see who's over on the YouTube side. Good evening, Miss Gypsy. Thank you to each and every. Amen to that. Amen to that. We got something special at the end of the night regarding that. And Gypsy, as always, mwah, hello, darling. Rhonda Santos. Hi, us. Hello, us. Hello, us. Hello, yous. Hello, everybody's. And Z Highness is here. Porchy Z. Mwah. Hello, darling. Lovely Lana is in the house. Hello, Fedora Nation. Hello, indeed. No, you do not get a fist bump, madam. You get, mwah. How you doing? Sub sandwich sounds good. Sub sandwich always sounds good. Robert, big fist bump to you, brother. Ruben's in the house. How are you doing, Ruben? Good to see you, sir. You get a tip of the hat and a fist bump. And Adam from our crazy Canadian up north. Boom. How are you doing? All right. Good to have everybody here. Oh, it's been a good weekend. Nice weather. A little rainy on Sunday, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right. Glad to have you on the house. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I know I did. Very restful. We had some birthdays. Well, I should say we had some birthdays last week, one coming up this week, and we got together at a local restaurant in my area, all the family, and it's always, there's my mother, myself, my sister, brother-in-law, my sister and my brother-in-law's two sons, their wives, and kids. So everybody was in their glory, as it were. So I cannot believe how much and how quickly my great nephews and great nieces are growing up.
It really makes me feel old, I tell you. Keep wanting to reach for the rocking chair and the Metamucil and all that happy jazz. Goodness me.
All right. Let's get down to business. For those who have not been here in a while, and I'm not, sometimes friends of mine pop in and out, and always glad to have them when they're able to arrive. We have a section of the show, and most of the regulars here will know, is called the Merry Memes section. On occasion, we find those things that are funny to watch, funny to listen to, and, as crazy as this life is right now, we got to find a way to get a laugh. Okay, there's just no getting around it. We've got to be able to laugh. And I'll tell you what, I've been laughing a whole lot more since last Tuesday. I don't know about you guys, but there you go. TBA over on Rumble says, can hardly believe the steal that's going on in Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, and 47 of the states. Ah, jeez. Tell me about it, brother. I haven't got anything pulled up on it for tonight, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Man, the Democrats are hooking and crooking out there everywhere they can find a place to hook and crook. I mean, yeah, some of these races are just breaking my heart. But anyway, we have the meme section, and we're going to start this evening. I have to thank WWG1 in combination with the Porch Hounds on this one. A lot has been made of the enmity between Joe Biden and former President Barack Obama. Now, you wouldn't think that wouldn't be so much the case, as they're both of the same party. They were both in the same administration, but, apparently they've had a big problem with each other for a long time. Well, it turns out that WWG1 and the Porch Hounds, which is our nickname for our intrepid news snoopers out there, have gotten a hold of a taped exchange between Biden and Obama. And let me tell you, it got just a little bit salty. So with that, let me double check, make sure the sound is working appropriately as it should, because, I am just a technical genius like that. All right. I think we're going to make it on the sound. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have an exchange between Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out and tell me what you think about it.
Tough break for Cammy, huh?
You just started a war.
No, I just finished one.
I am going to do everything in my power to end you.
Listen here, I've been around a lot longer than you.
Yeah, no shit.
You never understood how this really works. You were always a good soldier for them, but not me. I didn't get plucked out of nowhere like you did. I spent 40 years hiding skeletons for those fucks.
I knew you were fucking stupid, but this is insane. You really don't know the enemies you just made. We are going to erase you from history.
Oh, like I give a fuck. I've made my bed. I'll lay in it. I know my family is protected. How about yours? How long do you think before investigations start? How long do you think you'll stay useful to them? Besides, give yourself some credit. You were the one that dared him to run, but now I gave him the Oval Office. How about you?
Joe, what the fuck did you do?
I don't remember. I'm just a crazy old man, right?
Did you make a deal with him?
Like I said, my family's protected. Hold on, I got someone who wants to talk to you.
Hello, Barry. It's been quite a long time, hasn't it?
This isn't fucking over.
I'm not an idiot, Barry. I just play one on TV.
I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty salty. I don't know, man. I don't think certain people are going to get invited to Thanksgiving dinners at people's houses before this whole thing is over with. Ooh, yeah, TBA's like, I love this AI video. You ain't the only one. You know what? I love that one so much. I'm going to drop this one in chat if you want to share this around with your friends. Because, like I say, I know it. Look, I know it's AI. I have fun with it, because I am a little bit of a ham. I know you guys find that shocking, but that's a good one. If you really want to share that one around with friends of yours, I highly recommend it. So I just dropped it in chat on both sides, on the Rumble side and on the YouTube side. If you guys are so inclined and you want to share it with friends, I highly do recommend it to you. Now, this much we know for sure out of this. Apparently, Joe has decided to take a stand. And let me tell you something. I give Joe Biden credit for one thing. When he goes in feet first. Matter of fact, we have a photograph obtained by the Porch Hounds to explain just how big a stand he took in defiance of Barack Hussein Obama and the leadership that makes up the Democrat Party. I don't know about you folks, but I think Joe Biden is definitely making a statement right here. Whew. Man, who'd have thought it? I mean, there's Joe, MAGA hat, art of the deal book in the coat pocket. You know, I don't know where he was hanging out at this, this meeting. Looks like a, I don't know, local town hall meeting of some kind, maybe city council or something like that. But yeah, man, he's definitely taking a stand on this one. Definitely taking a stand. My goodness gracious. Joe, be careful, brother. That's all I'm saying. Just be careful, brother. And let's see, who else just strolled in here? Well, hello, Miss Chaya. And hopefully I'm not going to make Ruben mad with this, but mwah, hello, darling. Small times in the house. Boom. Boom indeed. Glad to have you here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, old Joe, he's sending a message. And by the way, Joe is not the only one sending a message. I tell you what, to borrow an old expression from my neck of the woods, everybody's feeling their Cheerios right now. The American people are sending a message to the powers that be that is long, loud, and proud. Matter of fact, you can see and hear this message most anywhere you go. You could be driving down the highway, you might come across it. Trump is your dad. I mean, yeah, signs like this are popping up all over the place. And I tell you what, like I said, the American people are letting their voice be heard in whatever ways they have available to them. And you have to love the creativity of the American people. Chris from My Morning Mayhem says, long, loud, and proud. I ain't touching that one. I ain't touching that one either, brother. That's just a whole other. No. Long, loud, and proud. No, ain't touching that one. No. Right to the gutter, Chris. You had to go right to the gutter tonight. Oh my goodness. Woo! Oh goodness me. Indeed, young lady. Indeed. No to the hoe. There you go. There you go. All right. What else have we got going on here in the way of the merry memes? Now, this one's not necessarily subject related, but it is kind of funny. And this one is compliments of WWG1. As I say, he is great at providing the funnies for us. And he found one, compliments of Joe Rogan. And I don't know if you guys have seen this one yet or not, but this one's pretty good. So with that, I think you'll get a kick out of this. It's not very long, but it is kind of funny.
Did you ever see the video of the girl talking about her pronouns and the cat turns and smacks her in the face? No, it's hilarious.
Hi, my name is Erin. I use she, her pronouns, and I was...
That cat was like, shut the fuck up.
Now, for all of you out there who are owners and lovers of cats, be honest. Has this not happened to you at one time or another? Maybe. I mean, I'm just saying. So, but yeah, I saw that and I thought it was pretty. Matter of fact, you know what? I am just in a very generous mood tonight. I'm dropping that one in chat. So there it is on the Rumble side, and here it comes on the YouTube side. So yeah, feel free to share that one around. Compliments of WWG1. TBA says, cats have more sense than their owners sometimes. Indeed, my friend. Indeed. Yes, very true. And Robert Lowry, you got that right. Woo! That cat was a reasonable person in previous life. Probably so. Bet Zippy is a good smacker. You're probably right about that. You're probably right, Gypsy. Indeed. Yeah, I am in a good mood tonight, Chris. I am in a good mood tonight. Well, no. Now, folks, you can't. Most of you cannot see this on screen. He says, guessing we won't be getting one of those infamous rants tonight. Not necessarily, because I got a subject coming up here in a little bit that might get me on a rant. So just hold that thought. Now, how good of a rant it is, yet to be determined, but I'm gonna be get ornery about something here in a little bit. So just hang tight, Chris. You might get a rant. Now, there have been a lot of things that have been said ever since Donald Trump's election, or I should say re-election to the presidency. And women of a particular political persuasion have been just wringing their hands, or doing more than that in some cases, shaving their heads, swearing off of sex, etc. And one of the common refrains that you've heard is they think that we are about to enter a period of the Handmaid's Tale. Well, America, being quite the entrepreneurial country it is, not that we expect that it's going to happen, that America start treating their women such that they are to dress as though they were part of the Handmaid's Tale. But if it were to happen, some entrepreneurial souls out there apparently are getting ahead of the curve, and they already have an entire wardrobe line prepared for this. And it looks like they've even got pricing figured into this thing. Look at that. $19.99 for a Handmaid's Tale outfit. I mean, I tell you what, somebody's getting ready out there. Somebody is getting seriously ready for this thing. I mean, check this out. I don't know how much inventory they've got ready, but somebody's thinking this might go big. I'm just saying. So, don't worry, for all you lefty ladies out there, if you're worried about not being able to get your uniform for the upcoming era in which you find yourself going into, well, fear not, my friends. America, we love entrepreneurialism, and somebody is already thinking of you ladies out there, so we got you covered. All right. I like a good oh my God, Robert. What a bunch. My audience. I love you guys. Return of the Patriarch. Oh, goodness me. All right. One last thing by way of the merry memes. And, some people would go so far as to say that some of what has happened is very... I've heard people on the political left make the statement that they feel like that they're slowly but surely being maneuvered. Okay? They slowly but surely feel like that everything that is happening has been by design. And, first it's, Trump is allowed on the ballot, then Trump wins the primaries, all these things that have happened. It's almost like there's some grand GOP plan or some grand MAGA plan. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's something to this because, I'm pretty sure that inside Mar-a-Lago, the Trumps are a very strategic family. As a matter of fact, the shaving of the heads, the threats to become celibate, apparently Project 2025 is indeed ahead of schedule. I mean, guys, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Well, maybe there is something to it. I don't know. All right. That's the merry memes section of the show, and that gets us to our first topic of the night. And gosh, there's been a lot of reason to celebrate. And seriously, and I'm serious about this, there's been a lot of reasons to celebrate ever since last Tuesday. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everything is wine and roses because TBA brings up a valid point. Man, the Democrats are hooking and crooking everywhere they can across America. Races that Republicans ought to be winning that, in the midnight hour, it just kind of seems like, shucky darn, the Democrats pulled that one out. Well, there's a whole lot of shucky darns going on out there, which I get it. I'm with you. But that said, laying that aside, there's still a lot of reasons to celebrate. Trump's on his way back to the White House, and our lips to God's ear. May he stay safe until he takes the oath of office on January 20. Cabinet members are being picked, which we're going to get into that discussion here in just a little bit. A lot of good things are happening. And I want to show you guys a quote from a fella named Chris Kofinas. He's the former chief of staff to outgoing Senator Joe Manchin, who's from West Virginia. He's my senator. And he makes a very valid point about I know I'm going to use the word establishment, but even that doesn't necessarily describe it. He makes a very valid point about the relationship between, let me put it this way, the elites and the non-elites. In other words, we, the garbage, okay? We, the deplorables. We, the whatever, term that wants to be used to describe us by people who are not us, okay? And Chris Kofinas, Joe Manchin's former chief of staff, made an absolutely fabulous quote the other day. And I want to read this to set up our first topic of the night, okay? Quote, "It's very simple. If you try to win elections by talking to the elites of this country, you're going to get your ass kicked. There are not enough Beyoncés, Oprahs, or Hollywood elites to elect anyone," said Chris Kofinas, former chief of staff to Senator Joe Manchin, independent of West Virginia. "Trump is not the disease. He is the symptom. The disease is political, cultural, and economic elites who keep telling the public what they should think, what they should feel, and what they believe. And guess what? On Tuesday, the people told the elites, go to hell." Now, I want to read that last part again, and I injected some words into it just to make it a little bit easier to read, but I mean, you guys generally know what he's talking about. Trump is not the disease, he is the symptom. The disease is political, cultural, and economic elites who keep telling the public what they should think, what they should feel, and what they should believe. And guess what? The people told the elites on Tuesday, go to hell. Now, say what you want to about Joe Manchin as a senator or members of his staff as they're going out the door. Lord knows everybody's going to. I mean, Democrats have been cussing out Joe Manchin ever since he got to the Senate years ago because he wouldn't play ball with everybody on some things. Don't get me wrong. On a lot of stuff, he was a pretty reliable Democrat vote, but sometimes Joe would speak with unerring common sense, and so would his staff. And Chris Kofinas makes a great point. Trump's not the problem. He's just a symptom of it, and the disease is much, much simpler than that. It's you have a bunch of political, cultural, and economic elites telling us, the American people, who are not the elite, at least in their eyes anyway, what we should think, what we should believe, what we should do. Now, you might think that that would just strictly apply to the relationship between the elites and the non-elites. Okay, I grant you that. Well, there's an example of that fight that's percolating right now in the background that's about to come full boil come tomorrow morning. And that is the fight over who should replace Mitch McConnell in the leadership of the Republican caucus in the Senate. Now, as many of you know, earlier this year, Mitch McConnell, Republican from Kentucky, who's been the Republican leader in the Senate for 17 years, announced to everybody that he would step down. He'll still retain his seat, although he didn't come out and say it. My anticipation is he's going to stay in that seat until 2026 when he would be up for re-election. But I anticipate, odds are, he's going to retire. Okay. Age, health, and time, yeah, this is probably going to happen. But at this moment, he's just giving up leadership of the Senate, or the Republican caucus in the Senate. And this is setting up one major brouhaha of a fight. Okay. Now, remember, McConnell makes this announcement back in February. And almost immediately, 3 people jump in. John Cornyn of Texas, John Thune of South Dakota, and Rick Scott of Florida. I would say within the first month after McConnell made his announcement is when Thune and Cornyn got in. Okay. About a month later, Rick Scott jumped in. And before I go further, I want to zippy over on Rumble with a Rumble rant. Thank you very much. The disease is centralization. Wealth equals power equals corruption. IP rights is the main centralizing point that's killing competition of thought and trade. One follows the other. Limited thought, limited trade. Fair point. Very fair point indeed. And thank you very much for the Rumble rant, sir. Limited thought, limited trade, limited choice and governance. Amen to that. So you got 3 guys right now who are in this fight. Well, it's sort of been percolating in the background. And the reason it's more or less been in the background is because, let's be honest, everybody's had their focus on the race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Well, now that matter is settled. Come Wednesday, the Senate Republicans will caucus together and they will take a vote on a secret ballot, no less, to determine who the next leader should be. And this person will be the majority leader of the Senate. Okay, barring some strange set of votes that I don't realize yet. But whoever comes out of this Wednesday morning, they're going to be the Republican leader. Now, for those of you, most of everybody in this audience is going to realize what I'm about to say next. Thune and Cornyn are very, very tight with Mitch McConnell. Cornyn, if I remember correctly, is the deputy whip, or is the whip, and Thune holds a very high-ranking post inside the leadership of the Republican caucus. Neither one of these men are viewed by MAGA or the America First movement as being friendly to the cause. If for no other reason because of their association with McConnell. But I got some stuff to show you here in a minute, which if you were thinking about supporting them, which, by the way, you're at liberty to do so. I'm not saying you can't. But before you do, you might want to take a look at what I'm going to show you tonight if you haven't seen it yet. Okay? A lot of people would like to, well, I should say, folks like myself, and of course, maybe some of y'all out there too, are inclined to like, okay, it's time. Donald Trump won a very decisive victory. He's got an agenda. We need to move it. That means we need somebody in the Senate leadership that's MAGA. Well, enter Rick Scott. Okay. Oh, dear heart. You are not wrong about this. You are not wrong about this. And by the way, if I didn't say it earlier, hello, dear. Glad you're with us tonight. Now, all of this is percolating in the background, okay? Well, all hell broke loose Sunday night. Compliments of Benny Johnson. Benny, that wonderful live streamer, YouTuber, he's on Rumble. The guy's everywhere. If you're not following Benny Johnson, do it. This cat, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, he is going to be to social media what Rush Limbaugh was to AM radio. He's got that kind of drive. He's got that kind of talent. He's focused. I mean, if he keeps his head screwed on straight and nothing bad happens to him, Benny is going to reach heights that people cannot even begin to imagine. I have immense amounts of respect and admiration for the guy. You know, in trying to figure out how I want to build this crazy little thing that I do, Benny is one of those guys who's like, okay, how do you do that? And, start jotting down notes, that sort of thing. But Benny got a hold of the current, what's called whip count. In other words, between Thune, Cornyn, and Rick Scott, how many votes does each one of them have? Who's committed and who's not? Well, I'll pop this up on screen for the benefit of everybody here. Okay? And this is how they break down. All right? Cornyn, at least according to this source that Benny's talking to, has got 18 Republicans. Scott's got 11, and Thune's got 24. Basically, a difference about 6 or 7 between them. Scott, let's see, if you're figuring 53 Republicans and you're dividing it out by 3, hang on a minute, I got to do some fast math. In order to win this thing, somebody has got to have at least 18 Republicans. Well, as it stands right now, Thune supposedly has a lot of votes. Okay. Has enough to do it. Well, everybody's been burning up the phone lines trying to get a feel for who's voting for who. Now, keep in mind, this comes from a source. Take it for what it's worth. You know, Benny got his hands on this thing. He's like, you know what? People need to see this. Okay. Supposedly, and I say supposedly, this is how people were voting as of this weekend. Okay. A lot of names on here surprise people. Okay. Some don't. I mean, for example, Ted Cruz, supposedly voting for Thune. Okay. You've got, let me find another one here. Brand new Senator Jim Justice from my state. Supposedly he's voting for Thune. I'm thinking who else can I point out here real quick? Okay. Scott's getting people like Rubio, which, okay, he's his fellow senator from Florida. Kind of understand that. Tommy Tupperville, who's a newer voice. J.D. Vance, who's a newer voice. And yes, J.D. still gets a vote in this thing because he is still a member of the Senate. And on it goes. Okay. Yep, that's right. That's right. Again, if what Benny's source is telling him is correct, you know, take these for what they're worth. Okay. Now, that was Sunday night. All heck has broken loose ever since then. Okay. People have been, at least from my understanding, sending in emails. They're getting online. They're raising Cain. And these Republican senators are starting to feel the heat. Okay. As a matter of fact, from Punchbowl News, this is from Jake Sherman. Yeah, well, thank God he's not voting for anybody. Exactly. True. Odds are he's voting for Scott. But from Punchbowl News, Jake Sherman, and he's a pretty good reporter, quote, "They're trying to bully us. We spoke with a GOP senator to see this, who sees this as an effort to intimidate Republicans and isolate Thune and Cornyn. This senator would not vote for Scott, but hasn't decided whether to support Thune or Cornyn. Quote, I really don't care what Tucker Carlson thinks. They're trying to bully us. That's not how these elections work," said the GOP senator who was granted anonymity to give a candid assessment. President Trump won decisively, and he deserves to have someone with actual experience who can get his agenda enacted. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. President Trump deserves to have someone with actual experience who can get his agenda enacted. Well, let's see. The last time somebody made that argument was 2017. Mitch McConnell was the Republican leader. And how much of Trump's agenda got enacted through the Senate? Laying aside the question of judges. Okay. Mitch McConnell, and nobody on the Republican side really wants to hear this, but it's true. Mitch McConnell slow-walked a ton of cabinet appointments to the government. He slow-walked a whole bunch of Trump's agenda. See, Republicans in Washington want you to believe that it's all about the experience to get the agenda done. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying experience isn't important. But can we start with the question of loyalty? Can we talk about, reflecting the will of the American people who just voted for Donald John Trump in an enormous fashion? How about we get somebody in the Senate leadership who actually, shares Trump's priorities to get these things done that are on his agenda list, and will work with the president as opposed to, working against him? I have always said, in politics or in life in general, I would much rather have an honest enemy as I would a dishonest ally. Well, I could make a pretty good argument, and I think y'all could too. Mitch McConnell was a dishonest ally. There were a lot of Republicans in the Senate and in the House, if you want to take that into account, that were dishonest allies. Oh, yeah, they had Republican behind their name, and they're backslapping Trump and all that good stuff, and yuck, cheerio, and all that good rot. But when they weren't backslapping Trump, they were stabbing in the back. Okay. And small time, I agree with this. I agree. I don't want groupthink. Okay. I agree with you here. Not necessarily a pro-MAGA majority leader, but, one that doesn't hamstring you. And that was the problem with McConnell. McConnell would hamstring you every time you turn around. He'd hamstring you. He'd slow walk it. He'd whatever. Okay. But these Republican senators are not real happy with the likes of Tucker Carlson, Benny Johnson, and everybody else. And they don't like this pressure being brought to bear because they're going to hold this in a secret ballot come Wednesday. Okay. Now, I'm of two minds on this whole question of the secret ballot to vote in the Republican leader. And I'm not going to lie to you. I can see both sides of this. There is an argument that says, okay, look, regardless of who wins as the leader for the Republican caucus, we all have got to work together. If this thing is out in the open, that's going to make for potentially bad blood down the line. I'm not sure I totally buy that argument, but I can kind of understand where someone's coming from. On the other hand, look, let everything be laid out on the table. We're all adults. Say where you stand, and let's agree to disagree. I'm not so sure in the end if I'm real wild about this idea of having a secret ballot. I can understand it. I'm just not totally sold on this being the best way to go. As with all things, sunlight is the world's best disinfectant. And frankly, where the Senate Republican caucus is concerned, they need a whole lot of disinfectant. WWG1 says, how dare you call me an adult? Well, excuse me, sir. I will refer to you as the juvenile delinquent that you think you are. So there. TBA says, Brian, are you expecting swamp rats to actually be honest? Surely. Not necessarily honest. Okay. I don't expect them to be honest. But their feet definitely need to be held to the fire as much as is possible. Secret and backdoor deals need to go away. Stop the rot. I'm with you, Robert. I'm with you on this one. Okay. I'm with you. Now, let's talk about John Thune and John Cornyn for a minute. It is no secret to anybody in Washington, D.C. or around the country that Mitch McConnell does not like Donald Trump. That's probably putting it mildly, okay? When he's not sipping Kentucky bourbon, Mitch McConnell is probably cussing Donald Trump at the mention of his name. Well, Cornyn and Thune, from my perspective, are just about as bad. Now, some of y'all might be watching this live stream and you're saying to yourself, oh, well, there you go. You're just the MAGA guy. You're just popping off of the mouth again because you don't like it. No. Where Cornyn and Thune are concerned, they got a lot of things to answer for. For example, You remember the Billy Bush tape back in 2016 when that dropped in September and everybody on the Republican side was just running for the hills? Well, not only were they running for the hills, you had John Thune drop this wonderful little comment. And this is from his Twitter page. Donald Trump should withdraw and Mike Pence should be our nominee effective immediately. Now, granted, that was 8 years ago. Some people might be saying, "Oh, come on, Brian, give the guy a break. He didn't know that, he didn't know what the whole deal was. He's thinking like, 8 years, things have probably gotten better since then." Well, this is still sitting up on Thune's Twitter account. He hadn't taken it down. He hadn't changed his mind on that opinion. But let's get a little more recent. So here comes Donald Trump with the chance to come back to the presidency. And, you would think that having seen how effective Donald Trump could be as president, that Senate Republicans would want Donald Trump back in the White House, right? I mean, low inflation, peace all over the world, solid job growth, wage increases for everybody. You would think that, okay, having had 4 years of that versus 4 years of Joe Biden, that Senate Republicans would want to work to make sure Donald John Trump gets back in. Yeah, except for the fact that John Thune, given the first opportunity to endorse somebody, he endorsed Tim Scott. Now, by the way, he has the right to endorse whomever he will. Okay. I mean, I would say the same thing of you. If we had multiple candidates running in a primary and I took one position and you took another, I might not agree with you, but I would say, yeah, you know what? You got the right to feel that way. Okay. However, this is not an isolated thing. Okay. John Thune in October of 2016, when the Billy Bush tape dropped, he wanted Trump to get out of the race then. Okay. And now having a chance, 8 years later to get Donald Trump back in the White House, because by this point, everybody knew that Trump was running. Thune's like, nope, we got to go on to somebody else. I'm going to endorse my good friend Tim Scott of South Carolina. Very, very true. Once a rhino, always a rhino. But you might be thinking to yourself, come on. I mean, the guy is at liberty to endorse whoever he wishes. I mean, right? I mean, it's his choice. Folks, John Thune and John Cornyn did not want Donald Trump anywhere near the nomination. And if you don't believe me, I've got something here from CBS News. And this was just about the time the E. Jean Carroll verdict dropped. Okay? And with that, check this out.
Scott, let me ask you before we go ever so briefly to summarize Capitol Hill response so far as you've been able to gather it to the civil verdict in Manhattan today against former President Trump.
Two reactions worth noting from Senate Republican leadership. John Cornyn of Texas told CBS News he simply doesn't think Donald Trump can get elected president. Quite a statement from Senator Cornyn.
Well, he proved that one wrong. Sorry about that. That's where he's located more than anything else. I'll see what I can do. Hang on a minute. Give me 1 second here, guys. Have I got my echo? Yeah, I've got my echo cancellation on, but that's more or less where he is. So apologies, but I'll see what I can do from my side. Let me try something else here. Hang on 1 second. And I'll start it up again in 3, 2, 1.
John Thune of South Dakota says America is going to have to decide whether it wants to deal with, quote, all the drama After this verdict and the other investigations, not exactly a robust endorsement from top Senate Republicans for Donald Trump tonight.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. There we go. That's better. All right. See, you give a guy long enough, sooner or later, I learn how to do this stuff. All right. For the benefit of y'all, maybe had trouble with that from where the echo began. Let me start that over again. I want you guys to hear this. So here comes the E. Jean Carroll verdict. Trump's required to, pay out a whole bunch of money, which, by the way, he's still appealing, which he has the right to do. So what was the reaction of people like John Cornyn and John Thune, in the Senate Republican leadership, just to give you an idea of, where they stand with Donald Trump. Here you go. Well, what is going on with this thing? Okay. Apparently it doesn't want to do what I wanted to do. Basically, they said, it's time to move on. Let's get somebody else. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. But I can just hear you guys right now. It's like, oh, come on, Brian. Let bygones be bygones. I mean, this was a disagreement about who the party nominee should be. They had their opinion. We had ours. We won. Are you really going to hold this over their head? All right, let's just take that for a second. If it were just confined to a political disagreement about who the nominee should be, or, loyalty to the guy who has helped your party out more than you've helped him, which is a true statement, by the way. Donald Trump has done more to get Republicans elected than the Republicans ever did to help him get elected. True statement. But lest you think it's about all that, show you something from Julie Kelly. Probably one of the best legal reporters out there, particularly on January 6 issues. This is from her Twitter page. As recently as this year, Thune and Cornyn, neither of whom reached out to me to discuss the J6 persecution, defended Merrick Garland and Matthew Graves' ruthless pursuit of J6ers. No effing way should either of them lead the Senate. Imagine their interference in pardons and investigations. And here are some quotes from Thune and Cornyn. Quote, I don't condone that characterization at all, no, said Senate Republican Whip John Thune when asked about Trump calling J6-related convicts hostages. We've got a justice system, and they're working through it, Thune said of the nearly 900 people convicted of January 6-related crimes, including more than 200 people who have pled guilty to felonies. Senator John Cornyn of Texas, a member of the Senate Republican leadership team, dismissed Trump's claims, echoed by some other Republicans, that individuals who were convicted of destroying property or assaulting police officers in the Capitol are hostages. Quote, somebody who's been duly convicted of a federal crime is not a hostage. Not that I have to convince this audience a whole lot, but you begin to understand why people are having a problem with the idea of either one of these two jokers becoming the next Republican leader. I mean, I am, and I'm, for my part, I'm kind of fired up about this thing. I'm commenting on this on Twitter as much as I can with as much voice as I've got. But to me, I call either one of these two McConnell light, because that's what they are. They're nothing more than Mitch McConnell wannabes. As a matter of fact, Benny Johnson was talking with another source on Capitol Hill over the weekend who made the statement that John Thune is Mitch McConnell's lapdog. That's what he called him. He called him a lapdog. He's on Mitch's leash. And he'll go wherever Mitch McConnell bids him to do so. I'm sorry. And again, can I do a whole lot about it other than talk about it? Maybe, maybe not. I can call my senators, which, by the way, I'm going to do in the morning. I'm going to tell them exactly what I think. Matter of fact, I called Shelley Moore Capito's office last week. And, I said, hey, tell the senator I don't want her voting for either one of these guys. And I'll do it again tomorrow, and I'll call the incoming senator-elect Justice. Try and get a message to him. So it's the fact they have no loyalty to Trump historically, and the fact that as far as Republicans in general, they don't have a whole lot of loyalty to them. Matter of fact, if you want a little bit more thought about what John Cornyn thought about the whole January 6th situation, this is a press release he put out. Senator Cornyn today released the following statement after the U.S. Senate voted to acquit former President Trump in his second impeachment trial. Quote, the January 6th attack on the Capitol was horrific and appalling. Those who planned and participated in the violence that day should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I agree with Speaker Pelosi that a 9/11 style investigation is called for to examine and address the confluence of causes for those shocking events and to help prevent them from ever happening again. This from the man who wants to be the next Republican leader in the Senate. Okay. And keep in mind, for folks out there who are strong on the issue of the Second Amendment, John Cornyn tried to help the Democrats pass some gun-related legislation recently. As a matter of fact, if you want to know what his voters in Texas thought about it, here was John Cornyn at a convention actually, this is in 2022 at the Texas GOP convention. Just listen to the kind of reaction the old Johnny boy got. He can't even speak for how bad he's getting booed. And keep in mind, folks, he hasn't said a word yet.
Happy, everybody.
Ooh.
Chairman Chattin, Vice Chair Porch, delegates and...
Yeah. There is no love, or let me put it this way. Among the base of the GOP in Texas and a lot of people around the country, there's not a whole lot of love for John Cornyn. Now, by reputation, Cornyn is a very effective fundraiser. You kind of figure that might be the case given that he's from Texas. Okay. Midmo, and hello, Midmo. Boom. My brother, there's a lot of people feel this way about those two right now. A lot of them. Okay. Yeah, this is not a good situation. As a matter of fact, Tarrant County, Texas, okay, they passed a resolution. You guys want to hear how much love John Cornyn's getting back home? This is a statement from the Tarrant County GOP of Texas. Resolution for America First Senate Majority Representation. Whereas the U.S. Senate must have a majority leader with a conservative voting record that represents Trump and the America First agenda. Whereas John Cornyn, who has repeatedly stood up against Republicans and sided with Democrats pushing omnibus bills that don't benefit Americans, is being considered for a top contender in that role. Be it resolved that Tarrant County Republican Party rejects John Cornyn as a possible majority leader in the Senate and encourages Republican senators to elect a majority leader that represents President Trump and the America First agenda, such as either Rick Scott or John Kennedy. Be it further resolved that Tarrant County GOP chair shall share this resolution through every available press release and social media outlets and every Republican U.S. senator and senators elect between now and Senate Majority Election Day. When your own home state has counties that are sending out messages like this, that is not a good sign, okay, at all. Now, the vote is Wednesday morning. I'm not going to tell anybody here what to do. I know what I'm going to do. For my part, I'm going to try and let my voice be heard. And I don't know how this one's going to shake out yet. And I know that TBA and I got into this discussion last week about this. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. Do your own conscience. But this is coming up. It'll probably happen sometime Wednesday morning. And, we'll see how this shakes out. For his part, Rick Scott is going around anywhere and everywhere he can, letting people know what his pitch is as for why he should be the next leader of the Republicans in the Senate. And with that, here it is.
Here's what I bring to the table. I clearly believe in the Trump agenda, number one. I'm a business guy that had success doing exactly what we need to do in the Senate. We need to have a plan. We need to work a plan. We need to have a team. We need to measure ourselves. If we want to get all the nominees done, we've got to figure out a plan to get it done. If we want to get a balanced budget, we got to start today to get a balanced budget. If we want to get the border secure, if we want to get whatever policies we have to get through Congress, we have to have a plan, just like what you do in business. I ran a company with 285,000 employees. We had a written plan for everything to get it done. My colleagues have told me, they want change. They want to be treated as equal. They want to be part of a team. They want to have an agenda. They want to have a great relationship with the House. They know I have a great relationship with Speaker Mike Johnson. So I'm very optimistic that I'm going to win because I'm representing Trump's agenda and what my colleagues want. Here's what I bring to the table.
Sorry about that, folks. I'm not sure why that's echoing on me as badly as it is. But that's his pitch. Now, for the record, just for the sake of fair balance, there are people who got problems with Rick Scott. They go back to his time as a governor. They said he wasn't real good on certain issues. So, look, is there anybody in this that's going to be the absolutely ideal, perfect person? No. And I treat it much like I do. The presidency. I'm not voting for a pastor. I'm voting for a president. The Republicans in the Senate are not voting for a deacon. They're voting for a leader of their caucus. I just hope that they listen to the will of the majority of the Republican base and pick somebody that is a little more pro-Trump's agenda than it is the Senate's agenda. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want the Senate or the other House of Congress to be subservient. They are equal branches of the government. I get that. But look, everybody's supposed to be on the same team here. You can disagree on how you get there. That's fine. But let's all kind of agree on where we ought to be going. One more thought on this matter. And this comes from Mike Cernovich. And this is a good point to consider. We voted for Trump and every down-ballot Republican to support Trump. We didn't vote for generic Republicans. In fact, and this was unfortunate, many voters didn't even choose the Republican candidate. The mandate is not for Republicans. It's for the Trump agenda. And I say, amen, Mike Cernovich, you're absolutely right. The American people have spoken. If given a choice between, Kamala Harris's word salad and Donald Trump's plans as it relates to taxes, to foreign policy, to tariffs, border security, immigration, etc., the American people chose Donald Trump's agenda. Okay? All right. If that's the agenda that they've chosen, that's the way we ought to be going. Okay, like I said, I don't necessarily mean everybody's got to agree on how we get there, but we ought to agree on where we're going. And the where we're going got decided on Tuesday, November 5th. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's the bottom of the hour. Let me do a real quick commercial, and we'll move on to our next. We'll move into the next compartment of the train, as it were. My name is Brian Trippett, and I am the Front Porch Conservative. This is Chattin on the Porch, a fun little live stream we do Monday through Thursday nights, usually around 7:30 Eastern. We get together, we share what's going on, we tell each other what we think, people tell me what they think of me. Sometimes it's nice. No, everybody loves me, I think. Anyway, you get the idea. If you like what we're doing here and you like this crazy host that you're looking at right now, who's doing his best to work hard, do me a favor. Subscribe to my channel on Rumble and YouTube. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you would not mind, give me a thumbs up as P2P me wisely says. Give me some thumbs up, people. Leave a comment in chat. Share the link around to your friends. Tell them to subscribe to the channel on Rumble and YouTube. It's all greatly appreciated. You guys are totally awesome, and I do appreciate it. And TBA's got some breaking news here. He just dropped it on the Rumble side. And you know what? When someone gives me the breaking news, let's see what we got here. All right. It is now official, ladies and gentlemen. GOP keeps control of the House. Republicans will control all three. Well, it's not all three branches. They will control the House, the Senate, and the presidency in huge governmental sweep. Article by Christina Layla. This was posted at about 6:50. The Republicans will keep control of the House of Representatives and control the Senate in a huge government-wide sweep this election. The Supreme Court currently has 6 conservative justices and 3 liberal justices. Republicans will control all 3 branches of government after Trump won the 2024 election in a landslide with huge down-ballot victories. Congressional races are still outstanding, but Decision Desk HQ has projected the GOP to win the House with at least 218 seats as of Monday evening. Reuters reported, quote, President-elect Donald Trump's Republican Party will control both houses of Congress when it takes office in January. Decision Desk HQ projected on Monday, enabling him to push an agenda of slashing taxes and shrinking the federal government. Republicans had already secured a Senate majority of at least 52 to 46, Edison Research projected, and DDHQ projected that they will hold at least 218 seats in the House, with 8 races yet to be called as in Tuesday's election. It appears that Alaska candidate Nick Begich has unseated Democrat Mary Peltola. However, the AP still has not called that race. All right. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. The Republicans have control of it all, the presidency, the House, and the Senate. Now, let's see what they do with it. Hopefully they do even more than they did the last time they had that control in 2017. So, TBA, greatly, greatly appreciated. And good evening, David. Rubio is a rhino, really pleased with all his picks. Up to Rubio being Secretary of State. Anyone else? We're going to get into that subject. We're going to get into that subject indeed. So give me 1 second here to clear out some of the stuff on the board. Kind of thin this out a little bit. All right. All right. Oh, by the way, Trump has not officially named the Secretary of State pick, has he? Don't get me wrong, Dave. I'm just asking, because if he has, I had not heard about this yet. So, I'm kind of like you. I'm not real thrilled with the idea of Rubio. Don't get me wrong. I like Marco Rubio. Nice guy. Just a little too neocon for my taste. Oh, no. Really? Aw, TBA. Tell me this isn't true. Tell me this isn't true. Really? Hang on. Hang on, guys. Sorry about this. I got some more late breaking here. Ew. Ooh, ooh. Okay, hang on. Well, okay. I'll put this up here. Trump expected to name Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. Expected. It ain't done yet. And I don't know. Good evening, Professor. Glad to have you here with us, as always. Yeah, TBA, I'm going to put a pin in that one. Let's see. Because the last I heard, it was Rick Grinnell. But let's see what happens here. Yeah. And this, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm putting a pin in this one. Let's just see. I think y'all know how I feel about this one. Just no neocons. No. I like Rubio. I'm not going to say I love him. I like Rubio. Just, oh, man, y'all breaking my heart here. Hello, Patty. Oh, goodness me. And we'll see what happens. All right. To that, getting into the subject of cabinet picks. Over the weekend, or leading into the weekend, there was rumor afoot that Nikki Haley was being considered for something, and Mike Pompeo was being considered for something, yada, yada, yada. Okay? Well, Donald Trump is not one to, how do I want to put this? Donald Trump is not one to let something linger without making a statement about it. And Donald Trump kind of dropped the hammer on this idea of Nikki and Mike coming back. He put out a Truth Social over, I guess, late last week. Quote, I will not be inviting former Ambassador Nikki Haley or former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to join the Trump administration, which is currently in formation. I very much enjoyed and appreciated working with them previously and would like to thank them again for their service to our country. Make America great again. Okay. I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen, that did my heart good. And up till today, there had been a handful of people picked for various things, but now all of a sudden they're starting to pop off like this. Okay. And one of the best ones that I saw was this. Again, from Donald Trump's Truth Social page. I am pleased to announce that former ICE director and stalwart on border control, Tom Homan, will be joining the Trump administration in charge of our nation's borders. The borders are, including but not limited to the southern border, the northern border, all maritime and aviation security. I've known Tom for a long time, and there is nobody better at policing and controlling our borders. Likewise, Tom Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin. Congratulations to Tom. I have no doubt he will do a fantastic and a long-awaited job. And I am very happy about that. And by the way, for those of you who may not remember...
We have seen one estimate that says it would...
Stop it. For those of you who may not remember what Tom Homan can be like, well, I love Tom Homan for a number of different reasons, but if I didn't love him before, this clip did it for me. Check this out.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
There you go, folks. Yeah, StreamYard's definitely giving me a problem tonight. I don't know what's going on here. Why is my audio doing this to me? Well, that may be my problem right there. Let's try this one more time. Tell me if this is still giving an echo.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Echo is back. No echo. Tiny echo. Not as bad. Okay. We'll work on it, folks. We'll work on it. Sorry about all that. Now Robert's saying it's clear. Oh, for heaven's sake. Now it's gone. No, for heavens to Murgatroyd. Okay. We'll work on it. So yeah, that's Tom Homan. And it gets even better from there. Remember Elise Stefanik? Well, congratulations. Elise is going to be the ambassador to the United Nations. Trump just announced that today. We also have, returning from the first administration, Stephen Miller has been named Deputy Chief of Staff. So pretty good rock star solid. Then you've got Lee Zeldin. He's coming in as director of the Environmental Protection Agency, and he has said on day one, I want to slash regulations, man. So you got that going on. And then, just as I was getting ready to come on this evening, we got this piece of news from the Wall Street Journal. Trump selects Florida Representative Mike Waltz as National Security Advisor. Congressman is known as a China hawk and a NATO critic. By Vivian Salama, we have the following. President-elect Donald Trump has asked Representative Mike Waltz, a Green Beret veteran who served in Afghanistan, the Middle East, and Africa, to be his White House National Security Advisor, according to people familiar with the discussion. The National Security Advisor, a highly influential post appointed by the president, does not require Senate confirmation, coordinates among all the top national security agencies, and is tasked with briefing the president and executing his policies. Waltz will step into the role amid prolonged conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East, and Trump is expected to try to prevent further escalation abroad by building deterrence against foreign rivals while favoring transactional policies with U.S. allies. Waltz didn't immediately respond to a comment. So there you go. So you got that going on. Zippy asked, do you use Zoom or other conferencing programs? Some screw with the mic, but random Windows updates can also do it. No, I use StreamYard, brother. I do use StreamYard almost exclusively. Although I am thinking about going over to OBS at some point, maybe next year. We shall see. This might just finally drive me to do it. And then, as if all that weren't good enough, interesting enough, Kash Patel, according to the New York Post, is emerging as a top contender for director of CIA. So far, I'm liking this cabinet. So we shall see, folks. We shall see indeed. Okay. Adam says, Waltz has the same opinion of NATO that Thatcher did of the EU back in the day, LOL. Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't know if Trump is seriously thinking about this. If Trump is thinking about this, I don't know why. I don't know why he's doing it. Now, yeah, now there is one thing about Waltz, and I'm not real wild about it. He's got a little bit of a, I shouldn't say a little bit, he's got a Jones for Iran. That's something to keep an eye on. But it's the president's pick. Let's see what happens. But yeah, that is a little bit worrying about Mike Waltz, because I've heard some of his comments as it relates to Iran. That's a bit troublesome. But anyway, those are the cabinet updates as we have them right now. And guys, I am really hoping that Rubio is not picked for Secretary of State. Like I say, nice guy, just a little too neocon for my taste. Anyway, all right, tell you what, we've got one more compartment of the train to get into, and I will forego the commercial since I just did one a little bit ago. And this gets to the section of the show called the Nightcap. there's a couple or three things that I found that I thought would be, if nothing else, just basic fun. They're not necessarily serious or stories per se, but clips that I found I thought you guys might be interested in. Okay. Now, everybody knows, or I should say, let me rephrase that. Most people know about what happened to Steve Bannon. 4 months in jail for defying Congress, or at least a subpoena of Congress. Okay. And he got out with about a week to go. Have you looked at or have you heard what it was like for Bannon on election night? I mean, yeah, we've been seeing clips of CBS and ABC and NBC and CNN, yeah. But I found this one, and frankly, given everything Steve Bannon has gone through, or Peter Navarro, or a lot of other people, I thought, you know what? Yeah, this, I can understand the emotion. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thought I'd share this one with you. This was Real America's Voice coverage of election night 2024, and Bannon and the gang from the War Room were on top of the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C. Okay? With that, check this out.
They just called Pennsylvania?
Now. So loud here. Hey, Steve, they're quieting down now.
Yep.
Okay. So
it's over. President Trump's the president-elect of the United States.
There
you go. You guys did it, buddy. Woo! You guys are so awesome. Woo! To be proud of. Fucking A. It makes a difference, you know. I'll pay the penalty. Yes, the FCC will be charging you tomorrow. Wow. Congratulations, guys. Pennsylvania has been called. I think Michigan's going to be called Donald J. Trump.
Yeah. Like I say, given all that man went through, definitely I can understand the emotion. By the way, speaking of nightcaps for the news, here's a blast from the past. Y'all remember the legendary Bo Snerdley, Rush Limbaugh's sidekick for decades? Well, Bo's still very active. He's got his own radio shows, got his own podcast. And I found this clip. And I thought, you know what? Never hurts to hear from Mr. Snerdley. And this is directed more for folks out there on the left, particularly young ladies on the left. And with that, I hope you guys get as much of a kick out of this as I did. Here are some words of wisdom from the legendary Bo Snerdley.
I've been watching social media ever since the election. It's been delicious. Watching these young girls, most of them have nose rings in them or something. Anyway, aside, oh, I see another nose ring right now. Anyway, but some of them are shaving their hair off, as you know. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're having tantrums, they're going to swear off sex with men, and some of them that are swearing off sex with men, it ain't going to be a problem. But, at all. But, here's the thing. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's okay. You lived through Trump 1. You're going to live through the second term of Trump 1, and it's going to be fine. But there might be a few changes, okay? So if you happen to be in the country illegally, yeah, this could be problematic. If you happen to be a criminal, you know it's not just Trump. Even out in California, voters said, we're done with all this crime stuff. We're going to tighten up the laws. So things are going to change. But after a year or so, you'll get into it. Life will be better. Don't be scared. It's going to be okay. I promise.
You got to love that man. You absolutely got to love him. All right. Couple last things. And these aren't necessarily clips or well, there's one clip. But as you all know, this is Veterans Day. And the origins of Veterans Day come out of basically what was known as Armistice Day, the celebration of the end of World War I. And now, with the passing of time, we take this day to honor veterans who have passed and no longer with us. Oh yes, and another point. Happy birthday to Chrissy Mayer. And also, my niece has her birthday today. I found this image, and this is a gentleman, and you all be able to read the caption at the bottom. This picture was taken in 1982. Gentleman's name is Joseph Ambrose. At the time this picture was taken, he was an 86-year-old World War I veteran. He was still living. Okay. And he's attending the dedication for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Now, you might see that flag that he's holding. That flag covered the casket of his son, whose name was Clement. Clement was killed in the Korean War. I found that image and I was like, holy cow. The sincerity, the look in that man's eyes is just amazing. And then I found the following clip. I'm going to start this from the beginning. There's no sound to it, but you might look at this image and find it a little bit shocking. What's this guy doing? He's rubbing dirt on the cross of an American soldier. Well, what he's doing is, this is a gentleman in France, and I'll explain this when it gets done. What he's doing is the caretakers of the cemetery in France, where our soldiers are buried who died on D-Day, that sand comes from the beaches of Normandy. What they do every year is they take that sand, that dirt, and they rub it into the lettering. They clean it up very nicely, as you saw there a moment ago. And it's there, they do that so that people can read the letters and the numbers easier. It's their way of paying tribute to all who died. Yeah, here's the caption, and I'll pop it up there real quick. French caretakers take sand from Omaha Beach in Normandy and scrub them into the letters to give them their brown gold coloring. They do this for 9,386 soldiers who died. I don't know about you guys, but that's just pretty daggone cool. All right, we're going to go ahead and bring this train into the station because it's almost 9 o'clock and you guys have a life and I've got a life and all that good stuff. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for being here tonight for chatting on the porch. Genuinely do appreciate it. And if you have someone in your life who is a veteran, make it a point to thank him for their service to the country. Tell them you love them and tell them thank you. With that, I'll be back tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, for another session of chatting. You guys are absolutely wonderful as always. Please hit the like button on your way out. Love you guys very much. And as we wrap it up, as always, remember the words of that legendary American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." Happy Veterans Day. Tell a veteran you love them. Good night.